Kingsman 3 cast, release date and everything you need to know. It should come as a surprise to absolutely no one that the Kingsman movies are getting a third installment, and, no, we don't mean the upcoming prequel The Kingsman, honestly. With the first two films, Kingsman, The Secret Service and Kingsman, The Golden Circle, making a total to date of $825 million, there's no wonder writer-director Matthew Vaughn announced plans for a Kingsman cinematic universe. In June 2018, yes that long ago, it was revealed that these films would be the aforementioned Kingsman prequel, a third and final Kingsman movie, as well as a Statesman movie based on the organization introduced in The Golden Circle and an 8-hour TV series. For now, however, news has stalled significantly. But we still have some light to shed on Kingsman 3, which absolutely is not The Kingsman, which is the third film in the series. We know, confusing. Kingsman 3 release date, when can we expect it? So you could be forgiven for thinking Kingsman 3 is the upcoming The Kingsman since it is the third Kingsman movie. But that's not the case. The Kingsman is a prequel and not a continuation of the Harry Hart and Eggsy story, so while it is the third Kingsman movie, it's not technically Kingsman 3. Clear as mud. The Kingsman was originally set for release on November 15, 2019, before being pushed back to February 14, 2020 and then moved again, for the final time, we assume, to September 16, 2020 in the UK and September 18, 2020 in the US. As for Kingsman 3, there currently isn't a release date for it, but in May 2019, Vaughn told Digital Spy that he was hoping to shoot later this year or the beginning of next year, as in early 2020. However, we know that's not happening now. It was reported by Deadline that the third movie could be directed by John S. Baird instead. Whoever is directing it though, there's been no filming date set either, so don't expect Kingsman 3 until 2021 at the very earliest. Kingsman 3 cast, who's coming back? Tauren Egerton and Colin Firth will of course be back as Eggsy and Harry Hart for the closing movie of their trilogy. We've got to finish off the Eggsy and Harry relationship. The final chapter of their relationship needs to be told, Vaughn told Digital Spy. There has been confusion about whether or not Egerton would reprise his role when quotes were taken out of context. As we've mentioned before, the next Kingsman movie being released is the prequel, which means no, Egerton won't be in The Kingsman. He will be in Kingsman 3 though, and he's even seen a finished script. I'm really not allowed to say anything, but there is a script. It's a really neat idea. Elsewhere, it's less clear who will be back in the third movie. Both Mark Strong's Hamish Mycroft and Sophie Cookson's Roxy were killed off in the second movie, but considering Harry Hart returned after being shot in the head, you can't rule anything out. With a Statesman movie planned, the third movie could also feature Channing Tatum, Halle Berry and Jeff Bridges as Agent Tequila, Agent Whiskey and Champ, respectively. Kingsman 3 plot, what will it be about? Outside of it telling the finale of Eggsy and Harry Hart's story, we don't know all that much about the plot for the third movie. As with both previous Kingsman movies, expect the unexpected. People will either freak out in a good way, or freak out in a bad way, but they will freak out, Vaughn teased. We're literally finishing the script off as I speak, but they go on a journey that, if anyone sees it coming, then I'll give up. All Egerton wants from the third movie is for it to be better received than The Golden Circle was, which he believes got an unfair kicking. The third issue in the Kingsman comics series is titled, Kingsman, the Red Diamond. Though the first Kingsman movie shared its title with its comic book source material, the sequel movie did not follow the same pattern. The third comic begins with Eggsy on suspension for knocking out Prince Philip. He was trying to save him at the time, to his credit. A creative decision like this making its way into the movie seems highly unlikely, but you never know. Vaughn produced an R-rated Elton John fantasy biopic, so anything is possible.